In this video lecture, we will discuss jaundice. So, jaundice is defined as visible bile staining of tissues, and jaundice is a symptom rather than disease. And jaundice is a symptom most of the time because of liver diseases. So, depending on that, it is classified into three types: prehepatic, hepatic, and post-hepatic. And the common causes of jaundice are bilirubin overproduction, hepatitis, and obstruction of the flow of bile. So, hepatic bile serves two functions. First, emulsification of dietary fat in gut through detergent action of bile salts, and elimination of bilirubin and excess cholesterol. So, alterations of bile formation become clinically evident as yellow discoloration of skin known as jaundice and sclera known as icterus. So, let us just go through bilirubin metabolism. So, bilirubin is produced from catabolism of hemoglobin, and biliverdin is produced from its catabolism by the help of heme oxygenase. This biliverdin is quickly reduced to bilirubin by the help of biliverdin reductase, and normal bilirubin production from heme is 0.2 to 0.3 gram per day, which is in unconjugated form, loosely bound to albumin, and reaches up to liver through blood. Now, in hepatocyte, hepatic processing of bilirubin involves carrier mediated uptake at the sinusoidal membrane, and where conjugation with one or two molecule of glucuronic acid by bilirubin uridine diphosphate glucuronyl transferase, in short UGT1A1. This conjugating enzyme is product of UGT1 gene located on chromosome 2q37, and mutation of UGT1A1 causes hereditary unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia like Crigler-Najjar syndrome type 1 and 2 and Gilbert syndrome. So, conjugation of this bilirubin with glucuronides occur in endoplasmic reticulum, and excretion of water-soluble non-toxic bilirubin glucuronides into bile. So, in glucuronidation in the endoplasmic reticulum generates bilirubin monoglucuronides and diglucuronides, and in intestine, gut bacteria deconjugate the bilirubin by bacterial beta glucuronidases and degrade it to colorless urobilinogen. A small amount of reabsorbed urobilinogen is also excreted in urine. So, this is the whole process of metabolism. From catabolism of heme is produced biliverdin, which is reduced to bilirubin, which binds with albumin complex and reaches up to the liver, where in endoplasmic reticulum conjugation occurs, and then it is excreted in bile. So, now pathophysiology of jaundice. So, increase in bilirubin is hyperbilirubinemia. It can be of two types, conjugated and unconjugated. Now, unconjugated bilirubin is virtually insoluble in water at physiological pH and exists in tight complexes with albumin. So, normally a very small amount of unconjugated bilirubin is albumin-free anion. So, this fraction of unbound bilirubin may diffuse into the tissues, particularly brain in infants, and may produce toxic injury. So, in certain conditions, this unbound plasma fraction may increase, like in case of severe hemolytic disease or when protein binding drugs displaces bilirubin from albumin. In case of hemolytic disease of newborn, there is accumulation of unconjugated bilirubin in the brain, which can cause severe neurological damage referred as kernicterus. So, serum bilirubin levels in normal adult vary between 0.3 and 1.2 milligram per deciliter, and the rate of systemic bilirubin production is equal to hepatic uptake, conjugation and biliary excretion. Jaundice becomes evident when serum bilirubin level go above 2 to 2.5 milligram per deciliter. So up to 1.2 milligram per deciliter is normal, and jaundice becomes evident about 2 to 2.5 milligram per deciliter. So what are the mechanisms by which hyperbilirubinemia may occur? So number one, there can be excessive extrahepatic production of bilirubin, or reduced hepatocyte uptake, or impaired conjugation. All these three mechanisms will produce unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Or there can be decreased hepatocellular excretion and impaired bile flow, which produces conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. So let us just go through some of the common causes of conjugated and unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. So in unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, excess production of bilirubin may occur in hemolytic anemia, or resorption of blood from alimentary tract bleeding, or ineffective erythropoiesis like in case of thalassemia, or reduced hepatic uptake as in case of drug interference, or impaired bilirubin conjugation as in case of physiological jaundice of newborn, or genetic deficiency of UGT1A1, which is conjugating enzyme like in case of Crigler-Najjar syndrome type 1 and 2, or there can be diffuse hepatocellular disease like hepatitis or cirrhosis. In cause of conjugated hyperbilirubinemia, there is generally obstruction to bile flow. So now details about neonatal jaundice. So hepatic machinery for conjugating and excreting bilirubin does not mature until about 2 weeks after birth. So almost every newborn develops transient and mild unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, termed as neonatal jaundice or physiologic jaundice of newborn. Plus, bilirubin deconjugating enzymes in breast milk may aggravate the condition. However, sustained jaundice even after 15 days in newborn is abnormal and may point towards hereditary hyperbilirubinemia. So commonest causes for hereditary hyperbilirubinemia are Crigler-Najjar syndrome type 1, type 2, Gilbert syndrome. In Crigler-Najjar syndrome type 1, there is absent UGT1A1 activity and it is fatal in neonatal period, while in case of Crigler-Najjar syndrome type 2, there is diminished activity and there is hypertrophy of the hepatocellular endoplasmic reticulum, and treatment is generally done with phenobarbital. In case of Gilbert syndrome, there is 30% of normal activity of UGT1A1, and patients are more susceptible to adverse effect of drugs that are metabolized by UGT1A1. In Dubin-Johnson syndrome, there is chronic conjugated hyperbilirubinemia and there are chronic or recurrent jaundice of fluctuating intensity. So these were few of the causes of hereditary, pathological causes of hereditary hyperbilirubinemia. Now let us discuss cholestasis. So cholestasis is impaired bile formation and bile flow, leading to accumulation of bile pigment in hepatic parenchyma. So it can be caused by extrahepatic or intrahepatic obstruction of bile channel or by defect in hepatocyte bile secretion. A characteristic laboratory finding is elevated serum alkaline phosphatase and gamma glutamyl transpeptidase, otherwise known as GGT. So morphologically, there is accumulation of bile pigment within the hepatic parenchyma, and hepatocyte may appear pigmented and swollen, known as feathery degeneration, and relieved obstruction may lead to portal tract fibrosis and ultimately biliary cirrhosis. So, as you can see in this histopathological picture, hepatocyte contains this golden brown pigment and they are showing feathery degeneration. And if obstruction and accumulation persists, it may lead to death of the hepatocytes and biliary cirrhosis. Now, progressive familial intrahepatic cholestasis, it is inherited autosomal recessively where there is lack of bile ductular proliferation in portal tract. There are two types, type 1 where there is liver failure before adulthood and type 2 where progression of cirrhosis occurs within first decade of life. So, to conclude, normal values of bilirubin, total bilirubin is 0.2 to 1 milligram per deciliter, conjugated or direct is up to 0.2 milligram per deciliter and unconjugated 0.2 to 0.8 milligram per deciliter. Now, how to differentiate between prehepatic, hepatic and post-hepatic type. So, serum bilirubin total is increased in all three types, but in prehepatic or hemolytic type, there is increase in unconjugated type of bilirubin. Plus, on peripheral smear, you may find evidence of hemolysis, reticulocyte count may be increased. Now, the features of hepatocellular and obstructive jaundice may overlap, but in case of hepatocellular jaundice, AST and ALT are markedly increased, while in case of obstructive, it is mild increase. Alkaline phosphatase and prothrombin time are markedly increased in obstructive type, while it is mildly increased in case of hepatocellular type. Plus, on radiology, you may see the evidence of obstruction in case of obstructive type, and hepatocellular type may show evidence of hepatitis. So, these are the most important difference between hepatocellular, obstructive and hemolytic jaundice.